Hello, in this video I wanted to talk about a topic that often young adults with intellectual disabilities consider if this is an area that they want to work on or improve on, and that is driving. And so driving, there are so many different components within the task and skills that are required to be able to carry it out. There are also considerations such as safety, whether the individual is safe to be able to operate a vehicle. Driving is within the scope of occupational therapy, so often OTs will work with clients to determine if they are able to drive safely, and looking at all these different components, physical and cognitive factors that go into the task. Also, we may be helping individuals to drive that were injured or something happened where it's making driving more difficult. And so we will come in to determine how a person can adapt, whether it's adapting the car itself for them to be able to physically drive the car, or it's helping them to process through different cognitive factors, or helping coach them to think of how they can safely operate the vehicle, why they want to be able to drive, and under what circumstances are they going to be driving most of the time. For young adults with intellectual disabilities, there may be challenges that come up with driving or just in college in general. And so driving is a very big task that, if possible, allows the individual to have more independence and freedom, and allows them to just be able to pursue things that are meaningful to them through driving. Ultimately, it is important for the individual to be assessed if driving is an appropriate and safe task for them. While it can be challenging, it is also important to encourage the individual to see if this is a task worth pursuing and if it is possible. Even, again, if it's challenging or doesn't seem possible at the moment, then being open to trying to build those skills and allowing the individual to work towards those goals and see if it is a task that is possible is worth it, due to the independence and the ability for the person to feel that they can participate in activities that are meaningful. And some of these could be potentially having more independence and going to the grocery store, or to a mall or a shop. It could be even simply just visiting family or friends. And when it comes to college, the student will have more freedom to be able to make decisions on their own. And so as they are able to drive, then they can gain independence by going to some of those locations I mentioned, or they are able to improve different social skills by being able to participate in driving to a friend's house or having friends with them. So with that being said, let's kind of look at some of the skills that are involved with driving and some of the considerations for these individuals that are important to keep in mind. So from an occupational therapy perspective, we are going to look at so many factors when it comes to driving. The ability, first of all, for the client to operate the machinery of the car is important. So this is going to involve different fine motor skills, which is using the muscles of the hand, fingers, and wrist. So this is often needed to be able to hold onto the steering wheel, or to press different buttons or switches within the car just to operate the vehicle. It also involves more of larger or gross motor movements, and so This may involve movements of the shoulder or the elbow as somebody is turning the wheel. It could also be movements of the legs and maybe the ankle to press down onto the pedals of the car to hit the brake and the gas pedal. There are also factors such as vision, so the ability to see outside of the car and to see the parts in the car on the dashboard. Also to perceive things visually, so understanding what different warning lights may be when they come up on the dashboard, understanding what the different parts are, how they function, and then as you are driving and looking out the window, it's being able to perceive and recognize different road signs, to be able to visually see them and understand what they mean cognitively. Also with driving it comes with a lot of quick thinking skills, so being able to make decisions quickly under pressure to maintain safety. It could be just being able to understand the directions that you're going in and when to turn. And so it requires a lot of planning ahead. Some of those executive functioning skills is what occupational therapists may call these skills. Hearing can also be important, to be able to hear different noises around you, like if somebody is honking at you, if there's a pedestrian going by, that may require hearing and sight. So there's many different factors. There could also be the ability, going back to the physical ability, it could be just the ability to turn the head and look out the window, and the knowledge of being able to know where to check your mirrors. So lots of factors, whether it's physical, cognitive, visual, hearing, and attention, focus. So many different factors that occupational therapists will want to assess to determine if this factor is working well for the client, and if not, then is there a way to adapt it in some way so that the client can be successful? And if not, if there are too many factors that make driving challenging, then what are some of the solutions we can think of so that the client can still utilize transportation and be able to get to places that they need to be? If a client is determined that they are not able to drive safely, then what may be some of the solutions specific to the individual that are going to be helpful? So some other options could be using public transportation. And with this route, you would have to consider a lot of different factors, as well as their safety and their awareness of themselves, as well as their ability to know what bus stop to go on and when to get off the bus, as well as using a pass if they need it. So just being able to process through that, we would consider if that is an option. If that is not an option, then having the individual determine if there's a family member or friend that is available to take them places. There's also other ways of more public transportation besides like the bus services. It could be somebody who specifically is a person who transports people with disabilities or other needs that cannot drive themselves. That is an actual service that is out there that can provide support to individuals. Ultimately, the occupational therapist wants to find the solution that works best for the client and is client-centered and allows the client to fulfill values that are important to them, while also using expertise of their knowledge of different factors that are involved in the task of driving and maintaining the safety of the person.